The Joyful Noise Radio Hour. Dudes, look at you, Adam. You look like you're in a David Lynch film already.
I am.
Did you shave, Adam?
Hmm.
You're taking this shit far too
For the
serious.
occasion, yeah.
Hi, Carl.
Hi, David. Nice to see you, man. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah.
Man, where to begin with you guys?
Let's start at the very beginning.
The very beginning. So your conception, where were you conceived, each of you?
Adam.
I guess in Geelong, Victoria.
All right. In what year?
Well, I was born in 75, but I would have been conceived in 1974.
All right. How about you, David?
I was conceived and born in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Wow.
Interestingly, my sister was conceived in Paris and born in Las Vegas. I was both conceived and I came out in 1960.
And here we are, 1960. Right on. I was born in 1984. My birthday is July 4th, 1984, which is a very Orwellian.
That's great.
Does that mean I was conceived in 1983? I guess it does. Yeah.
Maybe you had a really quick gestation.
Get me out of here. I guess I just wanted people to hear the story about how you guys met and how you became friends. And I mean, Adam, arrived in Hollywood in those movies when you see the aspiring, actor or actress or whatever, that's arriving in Hollywood from the bus or whatever. Except it was a ship that came in from Australia. And
I had no aspirations. I kind of fell into making videos, but I didn't.
You didn't do video work before you moved to LA? Huh. And why did you even want to come to LA?
A girl.
Ah.
I already sort of was pen pals with Lou Barlow and also David Lynch, and both of them said, you should come to LA. So I was like, okay. I guess it should.
Pretty impressive. You must have good pen pal skills.
Good penmanship.
Yeah, it's just the handwriting that did it.
When I wrote David Lynch a letter, I cut a little news article out and stuck it in there, and it was about a guy that was having surgery and he farted, and I guess maybe they were burning something off his ass, and so his fart caught on fire. So I cut that out and stuck it in the letter. I guess he liked that.
That made an impression.
Yeah.
That's funny. So when did you meet David?
Yow?
Yeah, David Yow. This guy on the call. Your best friend.
I had actually met David at a house party at Lou Barlow's house in 2010, but we didn't really become friends until a couple of years later when I asked David to be in a music video I was directing for Useless Children, a band from Melbourne with Steve, my Dumb Numbers bass player, Steve.
Yeah.
We met at a place called Cowboys and Turbans in Silver Lake that had a melding of Mexican food and Indian food. Like you could get
that sounds weird.
Lamb tikka masala burrito.
It's so good.
So good.
Yeah, really? Wow.
So good.
I asked David to play the character of Jimmy, a janitor based on a real life janitor that I knew in Geelong, who was developmentally challenged.
So perfect role for you, right, David?
Yeah, Carl, that's right. Typecasting.
The camera work in that video is so shaky because I was laughing so much.
Because you were laughing so much?
Then a few years later, we returned to the same character of Jimmy. Because in the intervening few years when David and I would hang out, he would make Jimmy faces or do things that would be Jimmy liked. Like, we really have to.
Yeah. And so was that for the Dumb Numbers video?
Yeah, that was for Unbury the Hatchet.
Yeah, cool.
I play David's mom in that video. Jimmy's mom.
Right. Yeah, that's funny. So I think, okay, my introduction to you guys, or how we became friends so many years ago. Here's the way I remember it, Adam. And you tell me if this is accurate to your memory. But I remember getting an email from a random dude named Adam Harding that was just basically like, hey guys, here are some of my songs, and would you like to hear some demos? And by the way, Lou Barlow and Murph and Dale Crover play on these. Like, what the fuck? Like,
That's about right.
how does that, like, how, why, like, and then that started our just conversation because you had collaborate, and this is like early days of the label where I didn't know any of those guys.
I knew Dale then because he'd been in some music videos that I'd made for Lou, and I hadn't yet asked him to record yet, or maybe I had asked him, but we hadn't yet recorded when I sent you some songs, but shortly after.
Right, yeah. Okay, so that's the one inaccuracy. You sent the Dale song a little later. Okay.
And around that time, this was maybe late 2011, and then we talked all through 2012, and that's when David and I started hanging out. And then David told me that he had a solo album.
Yeah, and you're the one that made the connection for us to release the solo album. It's released. Right. You Look Like a Spider.
And then I remember you came out to LA, Karl, and took us to a fancy Japanese restaurant. And I had been listening to, do you know that Jeffrey Lewis song, Don't Let the Label Take You Out to Lunch?
No, I should hear that. No.
But I remember asking you, are we going to be paying for this?
We chose that restaurant because it's really expensive.
You're like, you motherfuckers better want this bad. Now, when we go out, you would choose a cheaper place, I hope.
Del Taco.
Del Taco. or your weird Mexican Indian place. Yeah, what year was that? So that was like 2011 or 2012, early 2012 maybe, when I came out there to LA and met you guys for the first time?
2012 or 13.
Yeah.
Because both of our records came out in 2013.
Right. Yeah, and you and I had a long process. You know what? Like, with that first Dumb Numbers record, I think that was really one of the first experiences of mine of like really delving in and curating, creative directing a project on that level, which is something I love doing and have discovered is kind of my I'm way better at that than I am at, project management. Let's put it that way. And it was awesome to be able to work with you and like on sequence and even coming up with the band name and shit,
Yeah.
Originally you were thinking
I formed under my own name and self-released some stuff, but it felt silly, when you have a band and you have people playing with you.
Yeah, that's a great band name, man. That
was Hannelore. That was Lou's daughter, Hannelore.
She came up with that?
Yeah.
Oh, she was doing, I didn't know that.
I guess, homework. Math.
Oh, so she like blurted it out and you heard it.
Yeah, she said it and then Lou texted it to me.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I thought that name came from some sort of trick that David Lynch taught you about how to come up with a name.
He gave me a very elaborate method, and I still in storage somewhere have the tissue box that I used to. I had a tissue box and a Sharpie, and I wrote down this method, and
randomly, yeah.
So I did that, and the one that I really liked ended up being already taken.
Oh wow, that's weird. Do you remember what it was?
Bunyip Moon.
Interesting, man. So then on that first record, what became the first Dumb Numbers record, David, you were not on that, but you did the layout.
Photography from David Lynch, and then David.
Yeah.
You actually came up with the logo.
Right. You did the logo. And then since then, you guys have collaborated musically with the second Dumb Numbers record and then the uh,
The Splits,
Split series, right?
and then more recently, very recently.
Yeah, the new thing.
We've spent some time together in the hot tub.
So, okay, we got to explain this or explore this a little bit. David, you've got a hot tub at your place, and Adam is your frequent house guest or whatever, and you spend a lot of and you're free with your body. Let's put it that way, right? You're not inhibited by these puritanical norms.
Me?
Yeah.
Not really.
Don't look.
Don't look. I remember you telling me that story. And I mean, you know, you've been known to like get naked on stage at Jesus Lizard shows. Like,
Man, I got naked in the shower this morning.
oh, really?
Yeah, well, I got naked in the bathroom.
Okay, okay, all right. So you didn't get your clothes all wet. That would be weird. Hey, by the way, so I first saw the Jesus Lizard. I don't know if you remember Nashville. Remember when I came down to Nashville? We hung out for like a minute before the show, but like, anyway, it was my first time seeing the Jesus Lizard, and it was my last show before the pandemic. And what a good one to have.
What, smack dab 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was awesome to finally be able to see the Jesus Lizard live, and like seeing you, you know, just be a maniac on stage and crowd surf and everything. Like, and I can't imagine that kind of thing happening anymore, you know, unless there's like a COVID cure or whatever. But like, you know, just the bodily fluids, you know, that were being exchanged.
Scared, yeah.
Yeah, between you and the crowd, like that would be frowned upon these days, huh?
Yeah. Maybe we all have to do that, what's his name from the Flaming Lips, who has a big...
right, the bubble. Yeah.
Everybody be one of those.
Right. I think they did that actually. I think they did a show where it's like everyone gets their bubble, gets their own bubble.
Wow.
Yeah. So the last time we all saw each other in person, I think, was when you came through the Flipper and you did almost live recording on our rooftop of our old building, which was the last.
It's totally live.
Oh yeah, totally live. Yeah, you guys made us cross out the almost.
Yeah.
We start sailing. I'd like to thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves, and I hope we pass the audition.
Yeah, man, that was special, dude.
Well, I like that Jonathan's there in the video.
Yeah. Yep.
And Marina.
Yeah. And Karl with
Olive is a tiny infant in that video, man. It's the most bizarre experience of my life to watch consciousness enter a person gradually.
I've seen the opposite. I've seen it gradually leave, but
Oh, wow. Well, that could be fucked up too.
I remember sending a mix of that Flipper rooftop performance to Ted, and he was like, I don't hear any bass. Like, what in the fuck are you listening to this on?
Wow. And you remember also we did a partial take first, and Rachel was saying, David, you got to come in on the dun 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 dun. Going, well, I am. She goes, no, you're not. I said, yes, I am. And I was.
Later on, when we started editing it, I sent the video to Rachel and David to prove that he was actually doing it right.
Video evidence.
Yeah. Undisputable.
Yeah. I remember it being brutally hot.
The tar was melting. Like the surface of the tar, that black roof surface was melting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, and our AC went out too, I think. It was already going out. Yeah, that was.
I wanted to shoot from underneath David. I wanted it to be like from The Shining when Jack Torrance is locked in when Wendy locks him in the freezer. So I wanted to shoot David like that, but it was so hot. My phone shut down after like 20 seconds.
Oh man.
But
yeah, on the opening of the video, it's there, and then it's done.
Yeah.
Well, it's still probably the best almost live that we've ever done, which is awesome. Like, I mean, it was nice to go out with a bang. It was nice to have somebody do the rooftop thing, you know? I don't think any band had ever played on that rooftop before or since. So having
you two never.
You too.
No, the Beatles didn't either. It was a different rooftop. How'd you get involved doing the Flipper thing, David?
Several years ago, I guess that they got offered to do some shows in Italy that Steve, the drummer, and Ted, the guitarist, really wanted to do. But they didn't have a singer because Bruce Luce didn't want to do it anymore for whatever various reasons. I think back pain was one of them. I think that they weren't getting along. I don't know. I don't really know. But so Steve was in the market for a singer, and he lives in Los Angeles, and he went to see Chrome play a show at a place in Echo Park called The Echo. And I sang a song with with Helios Creed, with Chrome on that night. And Steve liked it, I guess, and asked me if I would sing for Flipper. And I thought about it for about half a second and said, yeah, I'll do that.
You were a huge fan ahead of time.
Well, I mean, it had been years and years. I mean, I didn't listen to him probably since 1982 or 83. But when I did listen to him, the very beginning of Flipper they were extremely important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Steve told me that he was on his short list was Keith Morris, Ian MacKaye, me, and Moby. Apparently, Moby is a big Flipper fan.
Wow.
But I'm
pretty sure Moby claims that he did actually do it, but who knows?
Moby? Really? I can't imagine that. Anyway, it seems like Mr. Yow, you are the perfect singer for that band. Well,
it was an honor. It was truly an honor and a heck of an experience.
So you were signed to Touch and Go for a long time, and then you went to
signed is a weird.
Right. Like handshake.
Yeah, it was a handshake.
And then you went to Geffen, right?
Capitol.
Oh, Capitol. Okay. And was that weird? Like that transition? Because like you guys were so like integral to the touch and go identity that I could imagine as a label owner, I could imagine feeling like really hurt by that, you know?
Well, Corey, who ran Touch and Go, had given us permission years prior to do, if he said if there's somebody who has a better offer or something like that, you guys feel free to do what you want and stuff. And I do think that Corey's feelings were hurt. My feelings were hurt. It was very difficult, and it was uncomfortable having a handful of major labels sniffing our butts, and then it came down to Capitol because Gary Gersh, who was running the company at the time, seemed like an all right guy. He seemed like the kind of guy that you would hang out with, even if it had nothing to do with the music biz or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And but he seemed convinced, as did our A&R guy, who's a dear friend, Dave Ayers. They all thought that we were going to sell a lot more records on Capitol, and I promised them that it wouldn't happen. It didn't happen, and we didn't. I think we sold maybe fewer records on those 2 Capitol releases than we had with the Touch and Go releases. But I got a house.
Yeah. So it was a big payday initially.
It was a big fat paycheck initially.
Was your experience in like working on the records and stuff, like how different was that going from Touch and Go to Capitol? Like,
well, I guess all the records that we did on Touch and Go had Steve Albini engineering them, and Steve worked very quickly and very efficiently, and I don't remember the numbers, but I mean, early on, it would only take a few days to do a record. Later, I think it took, a handful of weekends, but I always really enjoyed working with Steve. And so then when we had Garth Richardson record the first Capitol record, it was weird because it was the first time that there had ever been like producerly kind of game plans. Like he
like
came
influence
to our practices and he'd sit in and practice, and like, Mac was a really good tempo keeper, but Garth, he insisted and he's not hitting the notes at the beat at the right time.
Huh.
And rearrange the songs and like try to rearrange the songs and stuff. But we used to practice so much and work on stuff so much that all of his ideas where he would rearrange something in a song, they all went back to the way we had it.
Like just naturally as you were playing it, you couldn't.
Yeah, he just keep it the way it was. No. Keep it the way it was.
Wait, does he? Okay, does he actually have a stutter? Is that why he spells it?
Yeah.
Did you guys choose him?
We did.
Yeah, I mean, I've never met the guy or anything. I know very little about his career, but I do love the Melvins albums that he worked on.
Yeah, he was good, and Joe Barisi, who did the mixing, is also.
He also did those Melvins records, I think.
Yeah, Joe is what they call in the biz a genius.
We need to work with Joe Barisi.
Yeah, and then even the next record we had Andy Gill producing, but Joe Barisi did the mixing.
That was Blue?
Yes.
Interesting, man. I'm just fascinated by this like sort of distinction between indies and major labels at that period of time, in like mid 90s,
Well, there's things that major labels do and that bands we were very frugal. David Sims is an accountant and extremely good with money. Like some bands will want tour support. They want the label to give them money to go on tour. We never wanted to do that because we don't want them to give us money that we then have to get increases our debt.
Right. You don't want to take a loan. Yeah.
With big giant tour buses because you don't get paid if you do that.
Right.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, so a lot of the operating procedures that major labels would consider normal, we didn't want to have anything to do with.
Gotcha. So you sort of avoided a lot of the pitfalls of that world by being frugal.
I think so. I think so.
Cool. Okay, so you guys are artistic collaborators, but it seems like you're friends first,
Yeah.
you know? Um,
Got to be that way.
I heard a rumor that you guys have like weekly calls on Sundays.
Samsoon.
That's no rumor. That's a science fact.
Yeah. Adam, I don't know how you have this ability to just like endear yourself to all these like the most like legendary rock stars in the world, but that's quite a skill, man.
Well, a couple.
Yeah, a couple like the good ones, the ones who are actually good people.
Ted Nugent, Phil Collins.
The Nuge. Not to put you on the spot. I just think it's awesome that you are like a good enough guy to where you can just like move to LA and within a couple years you're kind of best friends with David Yow. Shall we talk about this new project with Melvins?
Yeah. David sings on one song. Actually, do you remember how you described the vocals to me, David?
I remember how I described Buzz's. I don't remember how I described mine.
You described them as a man attempting unsuccessfully to rescue his family from a burning house.
Oh, that's what I said?
About Buzz's vocals?
Right.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like very guttural. You know, you don't really make up much words. It's just kind of.
These are Yow's vocals or Buzz's vocals?
David's.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one with slowed down drums and like gurgly moog.
Look at that.
There's the test pressing. Can you see that?
That is
Saw
so,
blade. Pretty cool. That's the test pressing of this shit. Melvins and Dumb Numbers with David Yow.
that's about the coolest looking record I've ever seen.
And this is just
The idea is that it sort of complements the artwork that Mackie did.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, man. It's gonna be, yeah, it's always exciting to work with the Melvins for me because they were so formative to my brain forming.
When I would drive around with David around LA, Prick was always in the CD player or in
Really?
your MP3 player.
Is that your favorite Melvins album, David?
Probably not.
What's your favorite one?
Houdini.
Yeah. Do you remember recording the vocals to that one song you did? Was it Dry Drunk? It's on the Crybaby?
Yes, I do.
Because in the liner notes, they made it seem like you were just like shit-faced the whole time.
I was.
Oh, but you remember
But that was Buzz's doing. There have been a handful of times I've recorded with bands that I wasn't in, where the producer or somebody just insisted that I drink more bourbon, which I gladly,
Wow. So
Yeah.
he was enabling you to drink. He wanted you to
Yeah.
drink as hell.
But also on that same recording, we did a cover of Blockbuster by the Jesus Lizards.
Oh yeah.
I could not get the timing down right on that. So
A song he played hundreds of
that
times.
got me in. And then also there's backing vocals on that song of Kevin Rutmanis and me doing sheep, just going bah.
Oh,
bah.
that was you? I thought that was like a recording of an actual like goat or something.
No, that was Kevin and me.
That's awesome. It's cool to know that little secret.
Here's a little trivia, if you give a shit.
Yeah.
The sort of vocal pattern or melody that I used on Dry Drunk was taken directly from If There Is Something by Roxy Music.
All right.
Can't tell because I can't sing, so it doesn't really. You can't tell.
So the algorithm doesn't pick it up and charge you.
No. And also, I think that's maybe one of 3 times I intentionally ripped somebody off for a vocal thing.
You did it on our song, on one of ours, Unbury the Hatchet.
Right.
It was When the Levee Breaks.
Yeah. Cayenne pepper.
And then, you did it at our holiday party. Wasn't that Dwayne's idea to do the so Carol of the Tubular Bells, I think the name of the song, right? And we had all these people in town, and this was Thor and Dumb Numbers doing this track. Like, that's a combination of Carol of the Bells and Tubular Bells, the Exorcist song. And David provided like the most hilarious vocals that have ever been put to a Christmas song, and I play it every year.
Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold.
Don't go insane, 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 don't go insane,
while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, 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 merry Christmas.
don't go insane, 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 don't go insane,
Christmas is here. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. People sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here.
Look out, Mama, there's a watch. Don't go insane, 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 don't go insane. Fall on your knees. Oh!
Well, I have to give the credit to Dwayne Dennison. He's the one that around Christmas time, he often would just go, don't go insane, 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 don't go. And I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to say about it. It's like, it's so fitting for the holidays.
And also,
it makes me go insane, you know? Like, yeah.
what is that song? I think that song is called The Christmas Song, isn't it? The one,
Yeah.
and it's got that line that I love so much about fall on your knees, which sounds so cool when like a choir or like a boys choir or whatever does that. It's just, it's incredible. It's massive.
Yeah.
Your mom used to like that?
I think my mom and dad really liked that a bunch.
Yeah, I remember you saying that your mom liked that. And then that morning I was singing Neil Young's song, and then you threw that in as well.
Yeah, I think I had some stupid idea about how I wanted to start a song like that. Just go, look out, mama, there's a white and then just.
Yeah, you did that.
Oh, and that's what you threw in at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was probably the best holiday party we've ever had, man. That was
I
great.
love the floor of that recording studio. It was all made up of old basketball floors, wasn't it?
It was a post office.
Oh,
But I think the floors were of that nature, you know, glossed wood or whatever, you know. What's your guys' favorite part about working together creatively?
Everything with David is fun. Like running errands, going to the post office is fun. Everything is fun. With
Are you his
David.
personal assistant or something?
Well, actually, I'm thinking of a particular post office run is when we were filming the making of the monoliths.
Oh, yeah.
And we went to the post office to mail the cement blocks out.
An idea we came up with that at that expensive ass sushi place. Remember? Hey, that paid for the fucking meal.
well, I had made ones before that were 2 pieces.
I think that, okay, I mean, the way I remember it going down is you sent us the cover of the record, like the digital image, and I was like, oh, this is a picture of cement. Hey, David, do you think that there is a way that we can do actual cement artwork for a certain number of these? And you were like, yeah, I think so. Let me try some things out. And then you came up with that design of the monolith.
Right. While I was in Chicago, when I started doing photo retouching freelance, the first portfolio I made, I did out of oak wood with dovetail joints and stuff, and it was just really nice, but it was big and heavy and cumbersome and stuff. And then the next one I did was cool too, but I wanted something that was really impressive, and so I made these cement things. So the one that we put the record in is like half of what I had done originally, where the 2 pieces screwed together, and then there was a DVD inside that was interactive of my portfolio. And so it's kind of just half of that.
Modified to work with a 12-inch instead of a DVD.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant design, man. I only have one copy of it because it, you know.
Yeah, I don't have one.
You don't have one? Oh, man. Do you want mine?
No.
You can have mine. You're the one person in the world that can have it.
No, you keep it. And I threw them
Well,
all.
it's in a display case here at the office, dude. It's a high watermark on our list of weird packaging that we've done.
And to answer your question, Adam's just fun.
Yeah. You guys are both fun. You're easygoing, and you can. It's awesome that you're friends first, and it also just happens to work out that you are great musical collaborators.
If we weren't friends first, we would never.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I know of bands like, for instance, the Laughing Hyenas. When they were a band years ago, they'd fight at every practice, very often, like fist fights and shit like that. I can't fathom what that's like. I mean,
Right. Have we talked enough about the Melvins collaboration, or?
I have had this idea for 5 years or 6 years or something. It was always meant to be the follow-up to the Stranger EP that we did in 2017, but it just took a long time. I remember first talking to Buzz about it at the premiere of the Melvins documentary. So I think that was 2016, but it took COVID for it to happen.
Because Buzz was sidelined from touring.
Right.
Yeah.
It was already my idea that I wouldn't sing on this, but I got COVID and I couldn't sing for like a year. So that kind of worked out.
Hey, at least you have Buzz Osborne and David Yow to stand in for you.
yeah, I guess there are some positive things that have come out of this bizarre-ass pandemic.
What's that?
The air in Los Angeles is a lot cleaner than it was before the pandemic.
Actually, dude, there's this David Attenborough fucking documentary recently that I saw that was examining locations around the world, like, and how nature has recovered since the pandemic. And it was incredibly hopeful, man. it was like, holy shit, our planet is way more resilient than we thought. You know,
Right.
there was this city in India. As soon as the pandemic happened and the smog cleared out, they're like, holy shit, we have a panoramic view of the Himalayas in this town.
That's pretty funny. I live right at the foot of the San Gabriel Mountains, but I swear that when it first got clear, and they were reporting that Los Angeles had the cleanest air of any metropolitan city on Earth, which is bizarre, but I could see mountains that I didn't know were there.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
My cooking repertoire has grown.
Yeah.
I bought an offset smoker during the pandemic.
Yeah. What do you smoke?
So far, it's been ribs, brisket, pork roast.
Yeah. One of my jobs prior to running the label was working at a barbecue restaurant and in the kitchen, and my job every morning was to like unload the big smoker of the pork butts that had been smoking all night, and then put on huge rubber gloves and like pull the pork, like take out the shoulder bone and take off the like layer of fat and like mash it all together, and then I would smoke chickens and pull those. And I did some calculation at some point where I realized, I was like, okay, I worked there for this many years, like this many days per week, this many chickens per day. And I was like, I've dismantled 200,000 chickens with my bare hands.
Moo!
Something like that. I can't remember the actual number right now, but it's a lot. It's an upsetting amount.
You mentioned barbecue, and here in the Netherlands, if you ask for hot sauce, it's like, oh yeah, we have barbecue sauce.
They don't have just like pepper sauce?
No, we ordered nachos from someplace and they used sweet and sour sauce.
Oh my God.
It's such a mild palate here. So David sent me a care package of.
Are you all out of that stuff, or you still have some more chili powder, right?
Yeah. So David made a custom chili powder, which is amazing.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And so we had some good Mexican food for a while.
Hell yeah. Are you speaking Dutch yet?
My English is getting worse, but my Dutch is not getting any better.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this on.
Oh, nice. Habanero?
But look at the color.
Dude, yes. Even if you don't market this, can I like pay you to make me some of that?
You don't have to pay me. I'll send you some. Here's some pasillas and habaneros drying.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
David, are you working on any films?
A couple weeks ago, I shot a movie for a couple days where I play a character who reminds me of James Mason in Lolita. What was his name? Humphrey?
Humbert?
Humbert, yeah. It's like a cross between him and Bill Macy in Fargo. He's just kind of a worm who loves a girl who's far too young for him.
Wasn't that dude also in Happiness?
Yes. And you can't say happiness without saying penis. Are you allowed to talk about the movie that you shot in Bulgaria?
I think so. Yeah.
Let's hear about it. What's the Bulgarian movie?
This fella, Macon Blair, who's just an absolutely incredible guy, who wrote and directed a movie called I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore.
Oh, yeah.
That was in, and it won Best Picture at the Sundance thing and all that stuff. Well, he has written a reimagining of The Toxic Avenger, and Peter Dinklage plays the Toxic Avenger, and Kevin Bacon and Elijah Wood play the bad guys.
Whoa.
And I play a character who Macon described as a cheerful hobo with anger management issues. And,
Typecasting again.
I swear there were 3 or 4 times reading the script where I laughed so hard I couldn't breathe.
Wow.
That's saying a lot, but it's really, really good, and hopefully it'll be out in the late spring or the summer.
Wow, dude. That's awesome.
The Trauma guys produced.
Lloyd Kaufman?
Yeah.
Wow.
close.
Okay, so yeah, this was like late 70s, early 80s. Like,
1984, the first one came out,
okay, cool. The year I was born.
July 4th.
Yes. Cool. I mean, that sounds like an amazing project, man. What's it been like transitioning between music and film like that? Do you feel like when you're on stage, are you acting in the same way that you're acting?
No. When we're playing a show, I'm as me as I can be. And when you're doing a movie or something like that, it's I try not to be me at all.
Yeah.
I get a huge kick out of it. I really enjoy it, and I've told Adam this before. Like when things are going right in a scene, and you kind of aren't yourself, and whoever you're acting with isn't their self, and the place you are isn't real, and everything. I don't know of any other thing like it. It's almost analogous to sex or drugs because it's so personal and separate from the real world.
Yeah. I got a question for both you guys that I'd like you to answer individually. What is the single worst and or weirdest live performance you've ever played?
Adam,
You want to go first?
Well, I think you were actually there, Carl, is when we were on tour with My Bloody Valentine. And the tour started in Canada. We played in Toronto and Montreal, and those were good shows. And then we got back to the USA, and our first show was in Boston. But the venue, the House of Blues in Boston, was such dicks. And the stage crew didn't lock the wheels on. So my guitar cabinet was in the bottom of the road case, and they didn't lock the wheels down. Jay Mascis is standing there side of stage, watching behind me. And I go to stick the head of my guitar into the cabinet, because it just creates this kind of cool, deep, resonant kind of feedback. And when I did that, the cabinet started rolling backwards.
To Jay Mascis.
And Jay's standing there just kind of smirking.
Yeah, like amateur hour. I have a funny memory of that show. It was right after we arrived, and I was like tour managing that tour. So traveling with you guys, and me and Murph were just walking down the street. I don't know, we went to go get some coffee or something, and we were like walking back to the venue. And someone from across the street, this is like a, I don't know, 4 lanes street or something, like a pretty far distance. Someone from across the street yells at us like, "Hey, can I have a cigarette?" And Murph was like, "Sorry, this is my last one." And then he just goes, "Fuck you." And I was like, that's Boston, man. That is the Boston experience right there. Like, fuck you.
This is a Boston experience that I had nothing to do with, but I believe it was Todd, my girlfriend's brother. I'm not sure who or what, but you know how Bostonians have such a reputation of being aggressive without having to be provoked. Apparently they were near the beach or something, and so some girl was in her bikini, and she was just completely white pale. And this guy walks by and goes, "Get some fucking color."
What an asshole, man. Come on.
That's hilarious.
A mass hole.
Yeah.
Masshole, exactly. Yeah. David, what's your weirdest and or worst live experience ever?
Man, that's so difficult. I've done about 2,500 shows. I don't know which one.
Is that a real number?
It's
2,500 shows about
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Do any stick out in your mind?
one time we played in Boise, Idaho, and there were 3 people there.
Is this Scratch Acid, Jesus Lizard?
This was the Jesus Lizard in probably 1991.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and 2 of them were like drunk frat boys, and the other was an American Indian, and they were heckling us. And it's the only time I ever turned to the other guys and said, "Hey, you want to stop?" but we didn't. We played our whole set for these 3 fucking idiots.
The weirdest thing about that story to me is that frat boys and Native Americans would get along with about anything, you know?
I don't know that they were. I mean, they were just all drunk and
But
going,
all 3 of them were heckling you, right?
"Guy, play a good song. Play this," you know.
You brought together 2. I see a beautiful story there. You brought together 2 disparate cultures.
Yeah, you're right. In, I think, 91, we played at the FNR in Eindhoven, Holland. And Boss Hogg was opening up the show. And this is in the Jesus Lizard book. I don't know if you have the book or not.
Oh yeah. Remember we released a sort of version of it.
Of course you have it. Yeah, but have you looked at it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so Boss Hogg opened the show, and Christine Hernandez, John Spencer's wife, was wearing this skirt or this black dress that was right at the crotch. And she was wearing red panties underneath it. And everybody in the audience was, I mean, even women were like going like this, you know, to get stuff. And she was just so beautiful. And I was going, how the fuck how am I supposed to follow that?
Yeah.
It was wintertime. And so I had long johns. And so I thought, well, I'll just wear my long johns, and that's as good as I can do. And Christina said, why are you in your long johns? And I explained the situation to her. And she said, well, you want to wear this? And I said, yeah, I do. And so we went into this other room, and she got undressed and gave me her soaking wet panties, and I wore that dress. And it was really, really ugly. On me, it was not pretty and inviting the way it was on her. And I've seen videotape of it, and it's hideous, but it's pretty funny.
Right on. Any parting words, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you, David. It's been
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a fucking honor to work with both you guys. Just want to say that.
Thanks, Carl.
And I hope to continue doing it a lot more in the future.
Me too.
Ich auch.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.